Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon.
Okay, we'll be here. Hello, check. Hello. Okay. Alright. So when somebody is speaking, I need to change the sound system. When somebody from the meet will speak, I need to change the sound system. That's it. I can't think of any quick option. I can brainstorm, but it will take time.
Good morning, afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Those who have joined from the different parts of the world for this special session on role of young academies in building scientific temperament, especially among the Asian countries. Today, we are here during the 10th year celebration of Indian National Young Academy of Sciences, which is celebrated here in terms of mid-year meeting 2024. INYAS has been celebrating the 10th year, a decade of excellence. And it's now time for the INYAS to look for the larger impact in the global scenario. In last 10 years, INYAS has already contributed in the global platform by various ways, including having the two co-chairs for the Global Young Academy, including Dr. Anindita, who was the founding chair of INYAS, and she was also co-chair of the Global Young Academy in 2020, followed by myself continuing as the GYA co-chair currently. INYAS, in the first mid-year meeting in 2020, brought together first time the National Young Academies of Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Thailand, and Malaysia. And after this, we had several joint outreach programs as a follow-up of that meeting, including Sci-Art image competition and some other outreach programs from the different academies in the region. This collaboration, which was started in 2020 among some of the National Young Academies of Asian countries, that also resulted last year in two IAP-sponsored projects. One was on science ethics and creativity publishing, jointly with the National Young Academy of Bangladesh, Czech Republic Academy of Science, and Benin Academy of Sciences. There was another project sponsored by the Inter-Academy Partnership, IAP, on science diplomacy with the Young Academies of Nepal, South Africa, and India. It's now time to strengthen this existing collaboration and extend it further to enhance the impact in the society, especially in the Asian countries. Today, we have a distinguished panelist for this special session on the mid-year meeting of INYAS. And we have the distinguished guests joining across the globe for this special session on role of National Young Academies to build the scientific temperament among the Asian countries. Let me introduce today's guest for this session. From Sri Lankan Academy of Sciences, SLAS, we have Helini Pereira and Nimishi Fernando. From Nepal Young Academy, Nayan, we have Basant Giri and Nirina Khadgi. From Malaysian Young Scientist Network, we have Muhammad Sharif with us, joining online. Then we have from New Zealand, Royal Society, the Aparangi Early Career Research Forum, Ms. Christy Smith. From NYA Bangladesh, we have M. Tariq Rafat with us. From Pakistan National Academy of Young Sciences, we have Dr. Aftab Ahmed joining online again with us. From International Science Council, we are pleased to have Dr. Gabriela Ivan. And from Global Young Academy, we have from the Global Young Academy Office, Anna Maria, Marcus, and Hiva. Those some of the EC members from the National Young Academy portfolio of Global Young Academy. Last but not the least, from our INYAS, we have former members as well as the current members, Ranjini Vishwanatha, V. Ramanathan, Sobhaya, Pankaj Vara, and also joining Veda online. along with the chair of INYAS, Nishant. May I request the INYAS guests who are present here to join the dais and be a part of this discussion. Let me begin this session with a very short presentations from the different academies joining online today. And I would request them to maintain that 5 minutes timeline to share very briefly about their activities and with a major focus on how these activities can be extended further in terms of strengthening this collaboration among the Asian countries. So let me start with the Sri Lankan Academy of Young Scientists, LIAS, Dr. Nimishi Fernando.
Hi, good morning. Will you be able to give me the ability to share the screen?
Yeah, that's
Right. So hope you can see the screen.
Yes, we can.
Right, okay. Thank you. So I'm Nimshi Fernando, the current president of the Sri Lankan Academy of Young Scientists. So thank you for inviting us. So I will just give a brief idea about our academy and some of the activities that we have done. So, starting with the academy, our academy is for the early and mid-career scientists, and our membership is spanning in a diverse genders, and there are different scientific disciplines. Also, we are a team of enthusiastic, self-driven scientists where we work together to create innovative solutions for global challenges. And talking about the membership, our membership is age limit is 45, and to get the full membership, you should have the PhD qualification. So our mission is to become the official body responsible for empowering young scientists in Sri Lanka, because we need to contribute to this world and to our country. Also, our vision is to improve awareness among young scientists in Sri Lanka by guiding them to innovate and make interdisciplinary collaboration networks for career and for self-development. So, talking about our tenants, we are independent, not-for-profit academy where we focus on mainly on early career scientists. Then we do promotion of scientific excellence where we encourage our scientists to pursue high quality research. Then for their professional development, we help them to improve their skills, their leadership skills and all. Then also we arrange sessions to collaborate and to network. Then to improve innovation and impact, we promote research. Also, we have global engagement. I will explain about our global arm and all. And also, we work together with other academies. So the affiliated organizations in Sri Lanka are our parent bodies, National Academy of Sciences Sri Lanka. Then we work together with the National Science Foundation, also National Science and Technology Commission and COSTI, and also Global Young Academy, who have helped us a lot. Then we started our academy in 2012. Now, throughout the time, we have developed. Every year we add another event or something, and we somehow develop. So within this period of 10, 12, 11 years, we have evolved. And there are scientists in different fields: natural sciences, social sciences, engineering, technology, medical, health sciences, agriculture. Likewise, a lot of scientists are with us who work together, who help each other. So, talking about the international collaborations, we have a SLACE global arm, where Sri Lankan scientists who are in foreign countries, they have joined with us and they're helping our local scientists. For an example, when we don't have, when we do experiments, if we don't have chemicals, they try to sponsor chemicals or maybe instruments. And sometimes when it comes to funding, they help us with funding. So our global arm is helping us a lot. Also, we work together with other academies as well. So our past presidents have joined GYA meetings And also we work together with other academies, and we are organizing photograph competitions. This was in 2022, where we worked with INYAS, NAYAN, Thai Young Academy, Bangladesh Young Academy. Also this year we are working on the same event, Sai Capture International Competition, where about four young academies, Thai, Indian, Nepal, Bangladesh, all are working with us to do this. So the finals will be on 10th October. So currently we are working on this popular contest for this photographic competition. So the popular contest will start on 1st October. So again, we are working with the other academies in this event. Then earlier we have worked with one of the events that was organized by neighboring countries, Bangladesh, and likewise, we have worked together. Then we do research outreach, where one of the key events is the 3MT, 3-minute thesis competition. Originally, it was implemented by the University of Queensland in Australia. So we got their permission to conduct it in Sri Lanka. So we started that in 2016, and every year we have been doing this competition. So this year also we had our semifinals and the first rounds. Now the finals will be on 10th October. And also we do like media publicity. We give publicity to these 3MT winners. We take them to the national media, and we ask them to present so that the society would get to know what Sri Lankan scientists are doing, the work that they are doing, and how well they have done the work and the impact of it. Also, we work together with a parent body, that is the National Academy of Sciences Sri Lanka, where when they need our help, like last year we participated in the institutionalizing science advice to government, where a lot of academies participated in this event. Also in this year for high impact, low occurrence events. So this time also they had an event where we participated, and a lot of other academies, people from other academies came to Sri Lanka. So we had an event like that. And also we do other seminars and webinars to help our young scientists. And we do community outreach, like once we did a beach cleanup, then cycle to work when we had issues with fuel. So we did a lot of community outreach as well. I have mentioned only few here because of the limited time. And we do awareness programs for school children also, because our young scientists can give knowledge to our future generations. So we have different sessions to encourage them in science, to help them with the knowledge. Likewise, so this is a National Science Day, which was organized by the Ministry of Education, and we participated. And our scientists, we gave a lot of talks. For a lot of school students participated from around the country. So likewise, we help them. And also, this is one of our key events, the SLACE Open Forum. Annually, we have this where we bring, earlier we used to invite foreign people, but with the limited funds in Sri Lanka and with the economical crisis that we are going through, it's been difficult for us to get funds and invite foreign speakers this year. So this year we will have it in a local manner. So this year also we will have it. We have planned the theme as Industry 5.0, Igniting Economic Resurgence of Sri Lanka, so that our scientists and industry can get together and talk about how we can help when it comes to AI, human-robot collaboration, data intelligence, sustainability, all these things. So we have planned it to have it on 10th October. And also we work like collaborative workshops, and we do a lot of research with the industry. So we help, like SLACE help academia and the industry to get together to collaborate. It's like a matchmaking process. We help them to work together, do a lot of research with the industry because of the funding issues that we have in Sri Lanka right now. So industry is the main key body that we have to do research. So we help our academia and industry to get together. So this is Twinary, where MAS is helping us a lot when it comes to research. So this is a brief outline about what SLACE is doing and how SLACE get involved with other academies. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Nimishi, for showcasing the wide range of activities of Sri Lankan Young Academy of Sciences. Now I request from Christy Smith to make a presentation from New Zealand.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here. It is actually quite early in the evening here in New Zealand, and I have my family at the beach. So I have asked very nicely if I could present the ECR forum of what we call the Royal Society Te Aparangi, which is a Maori word, meaning knowledge. I'd like to thank you, and I've got a small presentation, so I'll just share my screen with you. Right. Hope you couldn't see that. I'm a co-chair of the Royal Society Te Aparangi ECR Forum. So we represent ECRs, early career researchers, that are across our motu, our land. We are the voice of New Zealand's ECR community, and we have members from most institutions, both universities, what we call polytech, so vocational institutions teaching vet nursing, carpentry, and vocational trades like that. And also the CRIs, which are our industry partners, independent and private research institutions. We operate under a more general title of the Royal Society Te Aparangi, who are our funder and our supporter and our voice to government to make behavioural change, policy change. We cover all fields and all disciplines, and our focus quite recently has been the social sciences and also making sure that the diversity is respected of our Māori and Pacific Island nations. In terms of the focus of your workshop today, we are very focused on diversity and ensuring that minorities have the same chances as domestic students and workers. We define an ECR as within 10 years of completing their highest qualification. Normally that is a PhD, but exceptions are made. And there are always exceptions also made for maternity leave. ECRs in New Zealand are really supported in terms of their, their transitional status. ECRs in New Zealand are typically between 25 and 35, which is also the time that they are building families, myself included, and also buying houses and becoming financially stable. So our Royal Society and our different funders are very aware of the status of ECRs in our country, both domestic and international. I'm going to talk about it later, but I thought I'd mention that ECRs in New Zealand, a great push has been happening for the past couple of years that international students or international postdocs receive a basic salary of over 80,000 New Zealand dollars a year so that they meet the criteria to stay in New Zealand if they would like to, which is probably quite relevant for your workshop. Here we go. This is our current ECR committee. I'm wearing a similar top to that in that photo. We have 3 co-chairs, normally distributed across New Zealand, and we want to also make sure that we have cultural diversity in that group. At the moment, we have myself, we have Mohonrei Owen, who is a Māori man from Waikato, and we have Gergely Toldi, who is a neonatalist originally from Hungary. So we make sure that we've got that cultural aspect to make sure we're on track, looking after all the groups. We have a 3-year term, and we do make sure we cover all our sectors. We have subcommittees that cover people, our voice, and our knowledge. We have terms of reference that make sure we foster a national early career researcher community. We want to make sure we offer opportunities to ECRs that actually tick the boxes that we need. For example, one of our funders wanted to give a 3-year term to one of our major grants, and we were quite vocal in saying that That's not going to work for an ECR because they simply cannot do that. They're vying for jobs, they're vying for transitional power, and they're also probably building a family and buying a house or something like that. So it needs to be at least part-time. So the next that funding round, it became a 6 year. It had to be finished in 6 years rather than 3 years, to make sure that ECRs were supported in their needs at that time. We have national, international, and cross-disciplinary interaction and our networking opportunities. We really do try to make sure that we have representation where we can, whether it be national or international. We promote diversity and equality. New Zealand has a long history of ensuring that we have diversity, but also that we respect our cultural necessities. We have small groups of very important nationalities, say the Māori and Pacific, that we need to support more so than the bigger groups. We provided a forum for discussion of issues and opportunities. We make sure that we really highlight what the needs are for the ECRs in a scientific publication sense, but also when we have a social media presence, which we're actually starting to increase because you have to be out there to be seen. And we promote, engage, and celebrate the research contributions of New Zealand's early career researchers. So we really try to make a big deal of when somebody wins or engages with another party. We have our Royal Society make sure that it is very public when an early career researcher wins a funding round. There's a big PR thing happening, lots of videos, and everybody is aware of the achievement. Also make sure that we're enhancing engagement between our Royal Society Te Apirangi and our New Zealand early career researchers. They're our voice to the government. If we want change, they're the vehicle we have to go through to get to that government, the power play up there. And we do, in fact, make use of that. I myself was at a very lovely dinner a few years ago when we talked about women in science and how to encourage more women to get into science. And the main message from all of that was that, well, what do women do? We're the ones that have the babies. Support women through that. The Labour government then suggested that daycare be more subsidised as for ECRs and for all women, really. Didn't actually happen because we changed government, but the idea was there. Just keep going. We have aspirations as ECRs. We recently wrote a positional paper that talked about equitable opportunities for funding across our new system. So New Zealand is going through a huge revamp in terms of how we measure science. And ECRs want to know how to navigate that system, but we don't know what that system is. So the ECR committee through the Royal Society are working towards making sure everybody is accounted for in that system rewrite. We have made submissions to ensure that early career researchers and emerging researchers are looked after. Want to encourage a space that addresses and overcomes systemic cultural boundaries as well, to make sure that our minorities are considered in that. In a recent funding round, we had 50% of the winners had to be women, 10% had to be Māori, and 10% had to be Pacific out of allotment of about 20 grants. So we make sure that our diversity is celebrated and not forgotten in terms of what should be funded. We also have a strategic plan that aligns with the goals of the Royal Society so that we're on the same page when rules are established or policy is changed. This is our draft. I'll make sure that's clear. Our draft strategic plan, and I just want to highlight the knowledge part, because what we have are people, what we have is knowledge. So we need to put those together so that we can voice our people and our knowledge to make sure that our accomplishments and our needs are heard, and that we can make sure that the policymakers, we can reach those international stages, and our industry links are really fostered. We're making a big push to have our integrated research sector and make sure that our PhDs are industry trained to do the next step, which is to have really solid graduate jobs when they finish their PhDs, because that's a huge hole in New Zealand. This is a slide showing the 2 webinars we ran this year. One of our goals is to inform. Although we don't know what our science system is going to look like, we want to make sure that we can still help our ECRs. And we know from what they have told us through our networking schemes, huge conference basically, is that they don't understand how to make funding happen for them. And also that if they want to transition from an academic position to a private position, how do they do that and what do they need to be assured of? So we really focus on that information. Once we have that information, we also gather data and then we put forward applications to the Royal Society and government funding schemes to make differences, particularly for the minorities that need that funding to stay in New Zealand. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I can hear my family calling out to me, so I don't want them to come in the room and interrupt us today. But thank you so much. I truly appreciate it.
Thanks, Christy, for finding time from your hectic evening schedule and the family time. I really appreciate that. Let's now move to the next presentation from Malaysian Young Scientist Network. May I request Mohammed Sharif. It seems we do not have Mohammed Sharif from Malaysia. Let me move to the next National Young Academy of Bangladesh, which is represented today by Mr. Tariq Rafat. May I request Professor Tariq Rafat to
good morning.
Screen and make a brief presentation about MYA Bangladesh.
Yeah, okay. Good morning. You can hear me?
Yes,
I'll just go without slides. So thank you for inviting in this event, and indeed it's a very important to discuss among different young academics how we can collaborate more effectively and efficiently. The role of neighboring young academics in building scientific temperament among the Asian countries and all the countries is very significant, especially for neighboring countries. Is very important as they share almost similar values, climate change, the different issues. They have cross-border things. So there are different spaces where young scientists can work together. From National Young Academy of Bangladesh, we have been working very closely with Young Academy of Science, Indian Young Academy of Science, INYAS, and Sri Lankan Young Academy of Science, and we have seen some slides from Sri Lankan Young Academy that we worked in last 2 years before. So in my talk, I'll say in 3 different aspects. So the first thing is, as I said, working together in neighboring young academics is very important, and we can definitely add values in different aspects and different challenges. We are sharing like climate change, health crisis, and sustainable development. And about National Young Academy of Bangladesh, NYB, right now we have 60 members. We take 20 members each year through a very competitive process, and the lead maximum limit is 100. And in last 2 years' time, so we did different seminars like international poster competition, and there was a very interesting finding from international poster competition, and that was with Thailand, Sri Lanka, and India. And we found that we had a very good number of participants from Bangladesh in undergraduate level. But when it comes to postgraduate level, we didn't have that much participation. And we had an observation that our postgraduate research is very weak compared to other countries, and even when we compare to undergraduate, even our undergraduate students are doing very good and competitive research. So we make some summary on that, and we informed it to our policy level, and we also started an NYAB Outstanding Doctoral Research Award. So we managed some fund by ourselves, and then we started this award to encourage our local PhD students so that they can get motivated as well. And in NYB, we work in different working group manners. We had leadership workshop, good laboratory practice, NYB awareness activities against predatory journals. And this predatory journal awareness, we have been working almost for the last 2-3 years. We also had summer schools on skill development and scientific writing. Right now, we had a big projects ongoing with under the banner of Rescue Project Roadmap to Improve Ethics in Science and Craft Predatory Publishing. It is with IAP, and we are working closely with INYAS and other two young academics on this. And we are also organizing joint seminars together to improve the awareness. So the last thing is what can be done next. So I think the main problem, I think it would be for all the young academics how to manage funds. However, we can leverage these things by different online activities. So I think we can like invite each other even for a Zoom meeting or like some student activities where there is not that much financial things involved. So I think that would be the very short-term things to know each other. And for long terms, definitely we can go for joint research projects, exchange programs. Exchange program, we can also do it easily if it is not that far. Yeah. So I think the first thing from today's workshop, I would like to request everyone that let's look for the short term as well, and immediate thing whether we can work on some online activities together, and then definitely we are looking for the long-term things. So thank you again for the invitation, and it's very nice to join here. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Tariq, for briefly explaining the activities. And yes, I think we are already collaborating with Bangladesh very actively, and including the project from IAP. And I'm sure that today's discussion will take this collaboration forward. May I now request National Young Academy of Nepal, NYM, which is today represented by Basant. May I request Basant to share his slides.
Thank you so much for the invitation. It's great to be here in this meeting. Let me see. Okay, looks like there is some issue with my computer to share the slides. So I'll just briefly talk about the National Young Academy of Nepal. National Young Academy of Nepal was established in 2021. So this may be the youngest of the young academies. It covers all disciplines of knowledge in our case, starting from natural sciences, engineering, medicine, social sciences, humanities, and every other sectors of the knowledge. We established this academy as a bottom-up approach, even though it was registered in 2021. We had series of meetings with our potential members of this academy before registering it, to figure out how to register, what will be the legal status, and what is the relationship between the young academy and then the parent academy, So finally, we decided that we give it as a non-profit making company registered with the government of Nepal, and it's independent legal entity. So the major objectives of this academy is to bring together Nepali young scholars and engage them with the other sectors of society, including the government, and also to give a collective voice to Nepali young scholars to help build their capacity, foster interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary engagement, and also engage these young scholars in topics of national and international importance. So the structure of our academy is we have 2 co-chairs and 7 members in the executive committee. And currently we have around 50 members, 2 alumni, and we are in the process of recruiting new cohort of members for which we call open announcement, and then get applications, review the applications by an independent committee, and select those who are qualified and in a competitive basis. We also have advisory committee, and the advisory members of the advisory committee can be from within Nepal and outside Nepal. We have a couple of thematic areas where we would like to focus our attention. For example, open science and open data, research ethics, science collaborations, and science diplomacy. We also have the funding for research and innovation area. And we have a couple of working groups. For example, the acting working groups of 9 are open science working group, research ethics working group, and science education and outreach working group. As I think mentioned by previous young academies, we also run the 3-minute thesis presentation, research presentation competitions nationwide. We call it NICHOD in our local language, which is some sort of summarize your research in 3 minutes. We have 2 categories in this competition, both undergraduate and graduate categories, and the grand finale of this competition is on the National Science Day, which was last week, and we have already completed 3 episodes of this national competition, and we run this competition in collaboration with other academies in Nepal and professional societies as well. Another flagship event of NYM is what we call the NYM in classroom. So the members of NYM, they visit classrooms of schools, maybe a primary school or a middle school or high school, and engage with students about their research, their professional career, so that we can inspire school kids to come to education, to come to science, to come to research, those kind of things. And so collaboration is very important for NYM and its members. Collaboration with organizations and individuals within the country and outside the country. One of the couple of projects we have done in collaborative work is about, for example, one is about the predatory academic practices, which was funded by IAP, and it was completed a couple of years ago. We ran this project in collaboration with other young academies, for example, Young Academy of Bangladesh and India, other institutions within Nepal, Young Academy of Sri Lanka. We also actively participate and collaborate with the projects led by other young academies in Asia. So NYM is also the co-founder of Asia Water Council of Youth Professionals. This is some sort of a new committee under Asia Water Council. It has organized a couple of international events already. And on regular basis, we organize seminars, workshops, policy dialogues, especially targeting the policymakers, as well as for capacity building of our members and non-member early career researchers in Nepal. So regarding institutional partnership, we are actively working with, for example, young academies of in Asia, for example, Young Academy of Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, India. We also work closely with GYA in partnership with IAP, INSA, and a couple of universities in Nepal and academies in Nepal. And we also provide our solidarity in different issues that may be a global issues or national issues related to the voice of early career researchers. So finally, I would like to again thank the Indian Young Academy for inviting us for this important event. And would like to say that collaboration is very important for us. And we have been partnering with other young academies for different projects, and we'll be happy to collaborate in future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prasanth, for briefly describing the activities of NIAN, which is, I think, the youngest of the academies in Asia. And congratulations for the good work you are doing. I now invite Dr. Aftab Ahmed from Pakistan Young Academy to briefly discuss about the activities of Pakistan Young Academy. Dr. Aftab.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much for the kind invitation. And first of all, I must congratulate the Indian National Young Academy for completing 10 years. That's a great success. And for us, like starting National Academy of Young Scientists in Pakistan, we started back in 2009. So we are the first National Young Academy in Asia, and probably we are the 5th in the world. So we actually started initially with the forum that was started in 2002. That was related to life sciences, but then knowing the fact that we should engage all the science field, we started the National Academy of Young Scientists in Pakistan in 2009, and this is even before GYA. So the National Academy of Young Scientists working with the mission to engage young scientists and utilize their capability for national scientific development. So this is our main mission in Pakistan. As I mentioned, we started back in 2009. And this is a platform for the young researchers. So we have engaged the researchers from all the science disciplines and even the people from the social sciences. So it's not only limited to the science only, but we have extended it to the social sciences as well. So our main objectives were to promote coordination among the young scientists of Pakistan. So this was our actually 10 years goal. We started in 2010 to 2020. So our 10 years goal was to improve the coordination among the young researchers, all those who are working not only in the Pakistan, but also those who are working overseas. And we are quite successful in that because with our platform, we are now connected to around 50,000 young researchers who are working in Pakistan and also who are working overseas in more than 100 countries. In addition, our next actually goal for 2020 to 2030 is mainly about innovation and entrepreneurship through the mainly focusing on academia and industry linkages because they result in societal welfare. We are also trying very much on enhancing the research culture in Pakistan and also collaborating with the media so we can share the scientific information. Moreover, we are also trying to create more opportunities for the young researchers who are working in Pakistan. So these are some of the programs we started after the launch of National Young Academy back in 2009, which include the e-newsletter that we publish routinely. We publish e-bulletin. One of our programs which is quite successful is Science for You, just like it was started in other National Young Academy. Science for Youth is a success story of National Academy of Young Scientists of Pakistan, because we have conducted over 1,000 activities so far. So what we do, we ask the researchers who are working in universities, including who are working at the senior position, to visit the schools and colleges and perform different scientific activities in schools, so we can motivate our young generation to choose the STEM, STEAM, and STEM programs for, like, they should be more engaged into the science career. In addition, another flagship event program of National Academy of Young Scientists is Community Education Awareness Program. So in this program, we actually celebrate all the international days. For example, we are celebrating the Hepatitis Day, AIDS Day, Diabetes Day, Space Week. And in addition, we are also celebrating the international years, and we are also part of International Decade of Scientific Activities. So all these activities are also going on. And we, like, almost all the days we are celebrating, like Environmental Day has just passed, and Food Waste Awareness Day, something like that. These are our projects. So we have started NAIS lecture series that happens in many universities of Pakistan. So we ask the researchers who are working abroad whenever they are back to Pakistan. So we engage them, not only the researchers who are working abroad, but also the researchers who are working in Pakistan. So we can have like more coordination and collaboration among the young researchers. NAIS Global is another program in which we are trying to promote the collaboration between the researchers who are working in Pakistan and also the researchers, the Pakistani researchers maybe who are working overseas. Just like the other academies, we also arrange a lot of competitions in Pakistan. So that's the NAIS competition. And Science and Society is also very important, because that's mainly lacking in most of the developing countries, that we have to promote like science culture in our society. That's why we have these kind of programs. These are our working group, just like in other National Young Academies. Just like we have a working group on One Health. That's an important for biosafety. We have conducted over 100 workshops across the country to like have more focus on biosafety and biosecurity in Pakistan. Moreover, we have a women in science working group, so we can engage more female researchers, and they could go into the leadership positions. And we have like constantly arranging different activities in Pakistan. We are working very closely with our national bodies, including Higher Education Commission, Pakistan Science Foundation, Pakistan Council for Science and Technology. Moreover, we have developed many international collaboration, like we have worked with the Emerging Nations Science Foundation, Global Young Academy. We are working in different programs. American Society for Microbiology, American Association for Advancement of Science, International Science Council, and no doubt we are like now the member. And COMSTEC is for the Islamic countries, the Commission of Science and Technology. We are since 2014 partner with Global Young Scientists Summit. So we send the nomination of the young researchers from Pakistan to Singapore, so they join the event every year. So we have a huge social media presence. This is our Facebook page. We have over 200,000 people on our page. Moreover, we have around more than 50,000 people on our group. We are also present on LinkedIn. So there is like a lot of activities are going on. I haven't put a lot of the images because we actually arrange each year, we arrange like more than 100 different scientific activities. So a lot of research work and sharing the information and so on that's going on that you can find. With this, thank you very much once again for giving me the opportunity to share about National Academy of Young Scientists, and I will be very happy to collaborate with other fellow colleagues and other fellow National Young Academies in Asia and the rest of the world. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Afsar. I now request Anna Maria from Global Young Academy Office to briefly present the GYE activities.
Sorry, Chandra, but I wasn't aware of that.
Okay,
There must have been some miscommunication. I'm sorry, but
Veda.
Yes, Chandra, you want me to share?
Yeah, you can just briefly talk about the GYE activities.
Is my slides visible?
Yes, please.
Yeah, hi, very good afternoon. Thank you, Chandra, for this opportunity, and welcome once again on behalf of INYAS and also to all my friends who joined across the time zone as part of this INYAS activity. So I'm not briefing about INYAS, even though I'm part of INYAS, but because it's a crowd and we are very, very well aware about INYAS activities, but what GYA is doing, and I'm really happy that my GIA friends are also here. So GYA has a mission, science for all and science for future. And we are giving a voice to the young scientists around the world. So we are not just watchdogs. We have to strengthen the talent pipeline, the young generation of the world, and that's the mission of GYA. Along with that, like all the young academies, we are also catering the early to mid-career scientists and scholars. We are focusing on international, intercontinental, interdisciplinary, and intergenerational dialogue. So I think we are all on the same page and we are working in different niche for this common cause. So we try to develop, connect, and mobilize the talent across the world with the ultimate goal of creating a better world. And as per GYA, you can see it's a conglomerate of more than 200 members, 407 alumni members, and across 101 countries. And this is the representation of GYA at this point of time. We also select members based on two major activities. That is, one is the research excellence and also the commitment to service and outreach. I think that is also very important aspect that we address, with a median age of 40 years old and a 5-year membership. So we all are in the same storm, but in different ship. I think we have different challenges wherever we are as young career scientists. It's very competitive world. We have job instability issues, lack of recognition in this, gender, even though we were trying hard to become gender inclusive. But, we have a lot of issues as early career scientists with limited publication, opportunities, lack of, other issues. I think as we move from area to area, we address that there are a lot of different dimensions of problems that we face. And the other SDG challenges like climate change and so on. So what young academies are doing, and especially GYA is doing in this direction. Yeah. So we want to collaborate. We want to understand that how we can unite together and do things in this direction, how we can improve the networking, the career development, how we can skill build, peer-to-peer mentorship, how we can do, and also how we can address the transdisciplinary angle to it and into science advocacy, science diplomacy, and many more. So why support and participate in young academies? I think this awareness is also very important because we still feel that we are only representing a very few percentage as we see the population of our country, India. We see it's only a handful are there. So it's very important to create awareness, especially the underrepresented groups, the rural, the not connected people. That's common for all countries and continents. So we have to be more inclusive. We have to provide role models through these young academies. We can celebrate the youth-led initiatives and activities so that more people will get interested and to be on board. I think that is important. Then next generation scientific leaders. I think all young academies are talent pipeline. So we are creating a sustainable talent for the global world for addressing these challenges so that we can get more exposure to policy advocacy and also how to give growing recognition to the stakeholder group in a gender inclusive as well as age inclusive manner. So there are 3 key points that GYA address. So I'm just giving some broad strokes on GYA activities because most of the points has been covered and GYA is also actively working on these dimensions. So we have interdisciplinary, intergenerational dialogue in that manner. Then positioning our key members in key partnering institutes. That is also very important activity of GYA. And in the end, as we all doing, how to do skill building or interdisciplinary skill enhancement. So research collaboration, most of the time we are all subject driven, very research intensive group. So most of our grants are very specific subject oriented. But GYA is coming up or doing a lot of activities in interdisciplinary grants, which are very small scale, innovative, exploratory, and which can have more members from middle and lower as well as high income groups. So these kind of interdisciplinary grants are actually lacking. I think more activities of these kind of grants should come. So Sasha Kagansky interdisciplinary grant is one such activity of GYA. Another major pillar of GYA is the working groups. The working groups are intense groups where they regularly meet, they deliberate, and they come up with working papers and so on. As you can see, some references here, but we have a working group on different dimensions, from open science to science law policy, women, importance of women, importance of science and art, and so on. The third main angle is the strategic projects that GYA address. As you can see, the global state of young scientists, the GLOSIS project. So the Asian report has released in 2017, and the one that addressed the Latin American young scientists in 2021, and for African young scientists, it is in preparation. So I think it is very important that we analyze that what are the existing challenges of young scientists across the continent. I think GYA is doing a commendable job in that. Other than that, risk scholar initiatives, because in the post-pandemic era, we are having a lot of different kinds of risk, and this kind of assessment is very important in the work environment as well as in the personal space. So how we can support these early career researchers in these angles. So this is a very important initiative of GYA. So through grants, working groups, projects, we are interested in inter-member collaboration. So that actually penetrates the different part of the country as well as the globe. The second important aspect is positioning members in the key partnering institutes. So as we know that IAP, Inter-Academy Partnership, the European Academies, IISc, ISC, World Health Organization, UNESCO, FAO. So these organizations, we have our representation. And we are also really glad to share that GYA is also an important, is a member and a part of UN Secretary General Scientific Advisory Board. So this shows the importance of youth and youth academies in such a very relevant academy, and our co-chair has recently attended the inaugural meeting as well. So we also nominate members as well as alumni for different organizations as well as different reputed organizational bodies across the world. So as you can see, in 2021, 50 members were nominated. In 2022, 39, and in 2023, 51 members, and the number is still going on. So this gives a very good representation and voice to GYA, not only GYA, the young academies across the world, to share our opinion, to so that we can come up with new activities and initiatives. Yes, so this is the second important aspect that GYA have an effort on. And the third important aspect is development of interdisciplinary skills. So I'm very happy to see that all young academies are on the same page in this, and a lot of activities are happening for different gender as well as different zones that we are addressing. So Science Leadership Program is one such yearly training that GYA does, and every AGM, the members as well as the new members look forward to. So because this actually gives the the do's, the don'ts, the tips and tricks of getting into the ladder of science leadership. So I think this is a very important part of GYA training. Inclusive leadership training. So that is also a major focus. So that we have a lot of discrimination, unconditional biases that in the system. So how we can work across that, how we can at least improve what we are having and how we can improve on that. So all these skill building exercise we do as part of GYA. The third major angle is science with society. So as we know, that ultimate objective is to have an impact in society. So we do a lot of digital oriented tools as well as projects to address and to connect with society. Training policy in memo writing, because policy is one domain where youth has very less voice. And we normally don't see any incentivization or recognition for youth, when you are in policy. And most of the time, we don't even understand the language. So how we can improve the presence of youth in policy? So I think that is very important, because we are the most affected in most of the decisions, considering young. So I think that kind of a training that GYA is providing is commendable. Along with that, intercultural communication, cross-cultural communication, understanding each other. I think that is very important, and GYA is doing a lot of activities in that regard. And strategic foresight workshops. So as Chandra mentioned, it is very important to look forward and what we can do. I will just stop in 2 slides. So these are the overall activities, as I already briefed, what GYA is doing. At last, as this is the right platform that all young academies are together, I think I should congratulate INYAS for this joint event. And I think many more such roundtable events of young academies should be there, with more partnership and collaborations, because we all have the ultimate goal. And more early career researchers of these organizations to take part in these international activities. I think it should be keep open for more young academies to collaborate in each other's activities if possible. So we can nurture the next generation through these, and also fellowship and mentorship programs, also something that young academies can look forward to, so that we can have more joint efforts, research consortia, collaborative grants, some special issues which we can work together, hosting events. I think we all look forward to the GYA AGM next year, which we are hosting in India. So we are really happy if GYA members of different academies to be on board, and all other initiatives. I think it is the right start that INYAS has initiated, and looking forward to many more such activities. Thank you, Chandra. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Vidya, for briefly highlighting the GYA activities. It's my pleasure to introduce the next representative, Gabriela, for this meeting from International Science Council. Thanks, Gabriela, for joining. And I think ISC is the one organization which is trying to connect with the young academies, not only young academies, but other academies also. So I think your participation in this meeting is quite appropriate. And I request you to briefly highlight the activities of ISC, especially in the role of connecting the young academies worldwide. Gabriela.
Thank you very much, Chandra and Anna Maria, for the invitation, and very inspired by the other panelists and their great initiatives. I'm going to briefly introduce the International Science Council main priorities and activities, just to set a bit of a framework, and then show some of our recent initiatives in terms of early and mid-career researchers. So the International Science Council is a global NGO which has under its umbrella of members science academies from around the world, senior and young academies, research councils, universities, and ministries of science. Very interesting, I think, for today's discussion is the fact that the ISC, apart from its office headquartered in Paris in France, we have regional offices in Latin America and the Caribbean, Asia and the Pacific, and Africa. I think very interesting for today is the regional office based in Asia and the Pacific at the Australian Academy of Sciences. And I think after my presentation, I'll drop some links in the chat, because I do encourage you to follow the activities of the regional office, which may be very interesting for you in the region. This is maybe just a map of the international partnerships that the ISC has with affiliated bodies who are either supported or sponsored by the ISC. And you can see here a wide range of disciplines and a wide network of partnerships with United Nations bodies regarding various projects. I'm going to just briefly mention the fact that we have international partnerships with either international days or international years, with the current partnership now with the International Decade. And here are some of our main priorities when it comes to the ISC being present in the multilateral system, with a focus on freedom and responsibility in science, with a new project that's in the making for science missions for sustainability. The regional presence I mentioned. We also have a global network of fellows, which are accomplished scientists from around the world who receive the distinction of becoming an ISC fellow. Under the umbrella of the ISC, we have a think tank called the ISC Center for Science Futures, which looks very much into the future of science with a focus on emerging technologies like AI. This is our action plan, which has served as a guiding document of strategic priorities in the last 2 years. And after our General Assembly at the beginning of next year, we will design the upcoming action plan. And here again, you see some of the strategic priorities that I mentioned before. In terms of young academies, the ISC has launched 2 years ago, in very close collaboration with the Global Young Academy, an affiliated membership for young academies who for the first time could become members of the International Science Council. And I'm very happy that some of the young academies present today here are already members of the ISC. Here are just a list of the young academies that became members in the last 2 years. You will see some of them from the region, but also from North America, from Europe, Africa, and some International Association of Physics students. This membership campaign is ongoing, so we do our best to always keep in touch with other young academies and young scientific groups who can become members of the International Science Council with an affiliated type of membership, which gives them access to our events, publications, different types of opportunities for collaboration, either at a global level with the ISC or regionally with the regional offices. We have an EMCR forum, which meets virtually every few months. And each time we try to have a theme which focuses on one of the priorities of what the ISC is doing and how EMCRs can contribute to that project or initiative. So please keep in touch with us and follow us for the next upcoming meetings. Here are some examples of the meetings we've organized in the last 2 years, and you will see they're very spread regionally. I think the highlight are the Global Young Academy annual general meetings that we always try to attend and to contribute to. But you will see that we also had an event dedicated to Asia and the Pacific in Kuala Lumpur, which happened in October last year. I cannot believe it's a year. A year has passed, and some of you are, I think, in this picture on the left. I could not resist to not put pictures with Chandra and with Ana Maria from our meetings of this year when we attended the GYA annual meeting in Washington, and also the European National Young Academies meeting, ENYA, in Berlin. So this is maybe just an overview of how we are active when we are present and contribute to international events. The next main event that we are organizing is the ISC General Assembly happening in Oman at the end of January 2025. This will be an opportunity for early and mid-career researchers, young academies from around the world to join this 1-week event, which will have some dedicated events for EMCRs. And again, we are working very closely with the GYA in brainstorming and in designing this type of opportunities for EMCRs. But also more broadly, this event will gather the wide membership of the ISC from around the world, unions, science academies, research councils who will join in person and discuss strategic priorities for the upcoming years. We also organize trainings, and the upcoming one is actually organized by the regional office in Asia and the Pacific. And I'm going to share a link in the chat just after my presentation, and I invite you to subscribe to it. And I hope I was within time. Thank you very much, and I look forward to collaborating with you and exchanging more ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Camilla, and hope to see you in 2025 in Oman, January. I now request the host academy, INYAS, to briefly present its activity. Nishant.
No, it's already there. Hello, check. Hello. So when somebody is speaking, I need to change the sound system. So when somebody from the beat is speaking, I need to change. That's
So, very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the participants of this session. And thank you, Chandra, for the introduction. And I thank all the people who are online, who were able to join us with this invitation, especially when we are celebrating our 10 years celebration this time, our mid-year meeting. So I'll just run you through some of the broad overview of the activities that we conduct as a part of our Indian National Young Academy of Science, and also mention about our structure here. So if you look at our distribution, it started humbly with just 20 members to begin with, who gathered together in December 2014. And I think the first GBM was held in February 2015. And now every year we are getting members around 20-25. So we have an upper limit of 120. So presently we have 114 members. So the membership duration is for 5 years. So every year now we are getting more and more alumni members. So presently we already have more than 70 alumni members in our community. And this has been a very good opportunity for us to work together with the alumni members again. So many of our alumni are here today. We are really fortunate to have our founding chair as the convener of this mid-year meeting. And Professor Chandra is also here. Then our former chair, Rajan, was here yesterday. So if you look at our distribution of membership, it's a pan-India distribution, as you can see towards your right. So we have tried to ensure that we are able to get our members from every nook and corner of the country. It's a very competitive selection process that we go through. So the usual percentage is less than 10%. We are also trying to ensure the gender ratio. As of now, we have reached close to 27% female participation and 70% overall this is. But of course, every year we are trying to put in an extra effort to increase the gender parity as well. We have divided our members into 10 different zones for the country so that we are able to promote activities more at a zonal level, where members can join hands together and work towards activities on a much larger scale. We have varied representation across disciplines. So you can see, of course, life sciences forms a major chunk, including then we have the chemical sciences and our engineering sciences. We have been trying to make efforts to bring in more people from science education and science communication background. And also we are putting in efforts to bring in more people from the industry from here on. So if we look at the footsteps of INYAS that we have been following, as I mentioned, we started with a humble 20 members group, which started in 2014-2015. But over the years, we have gradually expanded our activities, public engagement and outreach being one of the core visions of our INYAS activities. It definitely goes into our mission to a large extent. So where we conduct a lot of activities at different places of the country. But including that, we are also trying to do a lot of capacity building workshops. So we try to do a lot of workshops, training programs, symposiums. For example, for the last 4 years, we have been conducting these mid-year meetings, 4 to 5 years now. Initially, it all started during the COVID period where we had to conduct it online, but since then we have been conducting offline. So this is the third offline mid-year meeting, which is mostly a technical symposium. And of course, we do talk a lot about the concerns of young scientists. So we had extensive technical sessions this time. In addition to that, we have had a lot of satellite sessions. So something like a focus on how young scientists can consider working on startups. Then there was a session where we discussed about research ethics and the concern, the global concern of predatory publications and predatory awards. And today's session that we have is, of course, which is very close to our heart, which will be kind of the precursor to probably the Asian Young Academy Networks, if we can consider something of that sort, which is the topic of discussion for today. Then, of course, we conduct a lot of mentorship programs. We do have a lot of interdisciplinary research initiatives, just like most of the other young academies, as we have been sharing. So this I already mentioned. So December is when 2014 is when we all started with our activities. During the pre-COVID area, it was nurtured to begin with. The COVID era was when we moved everything online. But I'm very happy to share that during the COVID times, I think this was one of the only academies in our country where we were doing such extensive work, thanks to Chandra and his leadership, where we conducted activities at such length where we were able to, I think we were one of the best performing academies in India. And considering all the academies, I'm not only saying that it's the Young Academy as such. So of course, then during the post-COVID times, we have moved most of our activities at a physical meeting levels. But of course, we do conduct some of the activities which are online whenever the need be. So we have a lot of programs. I'll just, I'm not going to show you the images because that's going to take a lot of time, but we conduct activities as flagship events as well. So we have 3 primary flagship events, which is the training of rural area teachers, which is known as RU Setup. And then we have one program specifically targeting post-PhD students, because many a times we have felt that how do we progress our career once we finish our PhD. So this is targeted to PhD students who have just completed their PhDs and what next, how to move into their career from there on. We have a dedicated team every time working on women in the scientific domain, and this has been a very successful program of INYAS. So this time also, we conduct a lot of activities within Wisdom. So for example, just last month, we conducted the WINGS workshop at IIT Bombay, where we selected around 24 women scientists with potential to enter into the leadership arena, and they were giving training in the fields of industry skills and academia skills by the real experts in those domains. Amongst the outreach events, along with the outreach activities that we conduct, we also conduct a lot of rural area lecture series. We definitely, as I mentioned, conduct a lot of scientific meetings. For example, the general body meeting we have where we bring in our new members who talk about their research. The media meeting, as I mentioned, is primarily focusing on the technical sessions that we conduct. Then in addition to that, we are also participating in several of the symposiums and conferences. National Frontiers of Science is one of them. In terms of policy briefing and policy updates that we would like to work upon, we do publish a lot of white papers. So we presently are working on 2 or 3 white papers which are going to move towards publication soon, which are related to activities of post PhD concerns. So we had published one white paper during the COVID times, which was discussing about the challenges that the PhD students faced, and it got a lot of recognition from the government forums as well. We are trying to get involved with our members into several of the national task forces. We do a lot of competitions, and I think some of the members, for example, Nayab and Nayan have already mentioned about, and Slayers as well, already mentioned about some of the international activities where we are joining hands. In addition to that, we also conduct the competitions like Saransh, which is a 3-minute thesis competition, just like Sri Lankan Academy also is doing. We have a national competition for research excellence where PhD students present their work in a very easy form, in a written way as a form of an abstract, and then they move towards a presentation. Then international SciArt image competition is another area which we have been working with the Bangladesh Academy as well. So of course, I would not go into the details more and more because then we would be, I think, involved mostly with our activities. I would like to open the forum more towards the discussion. So before that, of course, we are really thankful to all members of INYAS and the core committee, which works very hard, and of course, our office, Ananya, and thanks to INSA for the financial support. Thank you. Over to you.
Thanks, Nishant. So with this, we are done with the short presentation from academies, including the ISC and GYA. Although it took a little longer time than expected, but I'm happy that it was great to know the wide range of activities of various academies. We have roughly 30 to 35 minutes for the discussion, and I will straightforward go to the first question from my side. And before that, I request the panelists to come and join the dais. Ram, Rajni, Ranjini, Nishant, and Subir from INYAS. So first question to the panelists. I will come to the panelists who are joining online as well. But my first question, I would start with Ram. That the question is how the networking among we have seen the activities of various academies, and as the session theme is how to strengthen this collaboration among the various academies, especially in the Asian countries. So what we see how this networking among the various academies can be taken forward, especially from the Asian countries, and what are the obstacles in your own understanding to take this forward?
Thank you. Before I begin answering, because I've been given a forum, let me formally thank INYAS for having invited the alumni for the meeting and having given this opportunity. It was good to see former friends and make new friends. Yes. Coming to the question, what I can immediately think about when the Sri Lankan Academy was presenting and the New Zealand Academy was presenting. Of course, there is a organizational level collaboration, which requires a lot of administrative interventions, which I am not in a position to think about. But individual collaborations can particularly be initiated because this I'm particularly narrating my personal experience. I'm now currently working in a manuscript which is exclusively available only in Sri Lanka. So if through the young academies, if we are able to bridge this collaboration easier, because there are some challenges when we go through the higher organization or the formal bodies. And I for sure know, because I collaborate or keep interacting with one Professor Clemency Montel from again New Zealand. She belongs to the New Zealand University. And very interestingly, many of the Indian old mathematical manuscripts are in New Zealand through various migrants. So if the young academies of these two countries, although it's more centered, the locus is on the individual researchers, but if it can be mobilized through the young academies, nothing better than So to summarize my humble submission or as a response to the question is, so looking at the formal organizational collaboration role, if there are individual researcher-based collaborations, grassroots level collaboration, if academies can facilitate that, that will be really wonderful. And thank you.
We request Rajni, you worked with this national and academic portfolio in the INYAS to share your views on this.
Thank you, Chandra, and thanks for this opportunity. When I was in the chair committee, core committee of INYAS and trying to develop this, there were a couple of occasions I tried. I was also TWAS member, young affiliate, and was trying to sort of organize some programs with INYAS and TWAS together. But I found, at least in India, TWAS is sort of managed by the older academy members. And these two streams, like INYAS is considered to be a child of INSA. And when I suggested something, they said, oh, this is inter-academy program. And we can't do without the okay with the senior academy. So we couldn't really go forward on that. So I feel again here as young members or members of Young Academy, we have potential to work together, but these protocols and processes come in the way. On another occasion, I was again as part of a class event. We were in discussion. I was part of a discussion where we were discussing about women scientists in South Asia, Central and South Asia, and how there aren't many nominations of women scientists outside India. So, because they select only 5 in a year, and because in order to have a gender parity, they look for women nominations, and very often the Indian member becomes women. I don't think that's healthy either for a male or women or men candidates in India or other countries. And as part of INYAS activities where we had such an event a few years ago, I remember there were participation of large number of scientists and also women scientists from our neighboring states. So it was a surprise for me, senior scientists from those same countries saying that we don't have enough candidates to nominate. So I think in that way, INYAS or sort of network of young academies can become the means of communicating such opportunities for members of other countries also to apply for. Again, even in this, I feel it is the protocols and the routes in which announcements of such opportunities have been disseminated is probably biased. And so maybe as a network of young academies, we can try to break those ties. Thanks.
Sir, you got to call it mic.
Now, to know the perspective from the other young academies, may I request from Sri Lanka, Nimshi Fernando, to share her views that how this networking among the Asian countries in NYAs may be enhanced, and if there are any obstacles, how do you see that we can overcome? Dr. Nimshi?
Hello. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yeah. Now our Young Academy currently, since it's a non-for-profit organization, we actually lack a lot of funds. Now in Sri Lanka also earlier, the government used to help us, the National Foundation of Sciences, National Science Foundation, and other funding agents actually helped us. Even the industries helped us before to organize conferences and other events and to help our young scientists as well. But due to the current situation in our country, young scientists are going through a bit of a difficult situation because we don't have much funds to do research. Likewise, so what we are trying to do is, as a remedy, we have started our global arm. I think I showed that in our presentation also. Our global arm is there where Sri Lankan scientists who are in foreign countries, like they have gone to do their PhDs and now they are working there, they are willing to help us with whatever the ways to help actually our young scientists to do research, maybe to give instruments, then to share maybe chemicals and maybe students who don't have much facilities for them to learn, sponsor different, to go to different workshops within the country and to publish the publication fee, and also the global arm is trying to help us. But as an academy, we are facing this funding issue because mainly the government is unable to help us right now. So we hope for a betterment. Let's see how things would happen. Currently, that is the thing, but we are somehow managing and working. We are helping our young scientists and doing different events. So that is one of the obstacles that we face right now.
Dr. Nimshi, I extend this question to Anindita, that because you have the experience of working with the INYAS and of course chair the Global Young Academy. How do you see that this networking among the young academies from the Asian countries can be taken forward?
Yeah, so this is something that we had discussed long time back between me and O and Vipul in the GYA. So it's great that the young academies in the region are actually cooperating and bringing together various programs. But as Rajni said, there are always these red tape issues which come in, especially in our part of the world. And firstly, of course, more collaborative online events are always possible. Second thing that I would recommend is, having been working in this area of science education for a long, long time, I feel that we really need to put in much more effort in science education and science outreach, because all of our countries have a major issue of really, people who are left behind. And post-COVID, this has been another issue that so many children have gone out of schools. And we need to put in all our strength in bringing students into science and getting them to, and this is about discussing, the original theme was about how we can work together for scientific temperament. And if we don't build scientific temperament among our children, then the future is rather bleak. And given all the effort we are putting into the SDGs, we really need to handhold our future generations to get into this and really force our way through by talking to the younger people more often. And one thing I think that from the young academies, we could probably recommend at the level of policy. At least in India, we know, children undergo environment education and moral education and things like that in school. But primary and middle school level, they really need to understand now the SDGs, which students don't know. So the focus of morals and environment need to also include the future of the earth. And again, if something can be done with academies together, I think it will be good. And again, something, as I said, we've been discussing this in the GYA at one point of time, and then it fizzled out. Time to think whether we need an Asian academy.
Thanks, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm really thankful. Thank you to have asked Anindita, and thank you, Anindita, to have pitched in. It's a little bit, because I was also under the impression scientific temperament building, and when we say we have to build scientific temper, it does give an impression that there is lack of it. We have to nurture it. Yeah. So, but when we say building, so the shorter point that I wish to make is, it appears a little bit condescending when we say we have to build the scientific temper, but we also, as young academies, take cognizance of the existing scientific temper. Implementations may have been derailed, but unless the young academies take cognizance of it, and that's true for every young academy around the world. that will also give a longer way to look at the earth, be not as a consumer, but also as a part and participle of this earth for a safer future. Thank you.
Thanks, Ram, for bringing this point, which is also, yes, please.
So thank you again, Timna, for this opportunity, and also INYAS for giving me this opportunity. So I think there have been excellent points that have been put forward, and I agree with a large number of them. I just wanted to add that at a very functional level, since based on all the presentations, we see, for example, something along the lines of Saransh is been happening in various in academies. And it would be very easy at an operational level to have a joint or a international extent of Saransh, wherein it will also give an opportunity for the students to interact and see what the neighboring countries are doing, put them on a global stage. And it's an international recognition at this point of time. And it could be done online, and it's a very easy at an operational level set up. And also not to forget that these are all PhD students, are future leaders. So you would already map on the leaders to one to the others across the various academies, so that they can be in touch, and kind of an extension of Saransh, wherein you can actually bring together the exactly younger crowd.
Yeah, thanks, Ranjini. I think that's really some, I would say it's an action plan. Yes. With this, I move to the next question, that when we are talking about the networking among the Asian academies from the Asian countries, what should be the objective? What are the common goals to be achieved from this networking, from the collaboration? So I will go first with my friend from Nepal, Dr. Basan. If you can present your views, that what are the goals which can be achieved from this networking among the Neighbouring Academies in Asia?
Hi, thank you for the question. I think I was looking at the publication record from Nepal, and then how Nepali researchers are collaborating with researchers from other countries, and I found it very interesting. So looks like we collaborate more with non-Asian countries, researchers from non-Asian countries or non-South Asian countries than our regional country researchers. That was very interesting. So there is a lot of room for us to collaborate with researchers from our neighboring countries, because we have similar problems, similar research questions, and similar kind of resources. So one of the things we should do that is focus on research collaboration. Also, we can focus on capacity building and mentorship, maybe student exchange or faculty exchange, organize, talk programs, seminars, workshops that may be a virtual, or that may be the physical one, and also advocate for good science and other causes for capacity building of early career researchers and overall science and overall education in this region. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Now, I request Professor Tariq to share his views, because MYM Bangladesh, I know they are very actively working towards science ethics and publishing in the peer-reviewed journals. That is one of the concerns from MYM Bangladesh they are working on. So may I request Professor Tariq to share his views, that how this networking between the academies can be taken forward with respect to the present goals of the MYM Bangladesh also.
No, I don't think he's here. No, he's not here.
Oh. Okay, so I extend this question to now my INYAS colleague, Subhaya. I know you are very actively engaged in the collaboration, research collaboration among the various countries. So how do you think that there was suggestion for the research collaboration? How do you think that this networking among the young academies can take this forward?
Thank you, Chandra, for this question. I formally thank INYAS for giving me this opportunity. Yeah, in the recent, like even before joining INYAS or before, as of till date, like I'm actually collaborating with many researchers. So especially like, when Chandra was here, I mean, like he's chairing, when he's the chairman of INYAS. So we actually had a, discussion with various research academies, and we actually went to visit some institutes in China. So there, like actually, I really got an opportunity to collaborate with two good researchers, and every year we used to publish at least 5 peer-reviewed articles in a very high impact factor journal. That is in sensors and actuators and biosensors and bioelectronics. So that is my core area of research. So actually what happens is that initially, we need to look for the potential collaborators who are actually, working, who is also enthusiastic and, energetic in working in relation with your group. And also, is very warm welcoming, because I also had interactions with many other researchers during the tour. But actually what happened is most of them don't even reply, after that visit. So the main thing here is you need to, strike the potential, researcher who can help with us. And in addition to this, we can also think about a kind of, consortium where equipments can be easily shared among, researchers from other countries. Say, for example, like if you cannot do any experiment here, so obviously, like if you have done PhD in USA or Canada, we used to send a sample there. But it takes a very long time for us to do the analysis and get the results. By then, someone else will publish your, result. So research these days are happening at a very faster rate, and therefore, if you have, very good collaborators who is potentially working on your research area in the neighboring Asian countries, so that will be more appropriate to collaborate with them. And, as a young academy, INYAS had collaboration with many other, academies like SLAS and NIA. So potentially, like, we need to look for collaborators and we need to go ahead. The only problem which I foresee is, when you work in a strategic sector, something like, radioisotopic labeling or something, which is very, is of national interest. So in that area, I think maybe collaboration is not possible. And, obviously we cannot also do anything. So I will give it that.
I now move to my GYA colleagues, Marcus and Eva. They are also handling the National Young Academy portfolios from the GYA. And I know that they are quite involved with the European National Young Academies Network, African Young Academies Network. So my question to Marcus and Eva is that what we can learn from these already existing and successful efforts of connecting the European National Young Academies, African Young Academies, and with your experience and involvement, what are the common learnings you can share with us, which can be taken forward for the Asian perspective? Marcus?
Yeah, thank you so much, Chandra. I hope you can hear me. I wanted to start by thanking you also for giving us the opportunity to be here and listen to the presentations and the vibrance in the room, so to say, that you are going ahead with this plan of connecting also Asian young academies. I would mainly focus on the European network of young academies, on the one hand because I'm here actively involved, but also since it's maybe the oldest network of young academies. While in the African context, indeed, we see great steps forward, but it's still at an early stage. When it comes to ENYA, I think in the end, what made for the access of the network is not rocket science. And I think a few lessons can be learned. First of all, the formation of such a network takes time and patience. in the sense of you cannot expect that you are fully operational from day one or year one, but it takes some time. But at the same time, also the consistency of activities and work. In other words, it's also not enough just to say we found a network and then we hope it will somehow work. You also need to build consistent activities and continue work in a way on a permanent basis. And that means in particular that you will need structures for regular exchange and networking. In the case of the European Network of Young Academies, ENYA, it's the annual meetings that are organized by the network. But it's also important that these structures, like the annual meetings, are filled with life. It's not enough just to have empty vessels, so to say. And what works in the ENYA context particularly well is the clear thematic focus of these annual meetings. Meaning it's not just a meeting for the sake of meeting, but with a clear focus and sometimes also with concluding documents on this issue. For example, last year, the ENYA meeting took place in Sweden, Stockholm, and the result of that meeting was the Stockholm Declaration on Academic Freedom. So European young academies agreeing also what they understand by academic freedom, but also what would be, from the perspective of early and mid-career researchers, the key features of academic freedom. Another helpful aspect was also that then for specific purposes, the network created specific structures. For example, YASAS, it's a difficult term, it's the Young Academy Science Advice Structure. This is a structure that is directly involved in science advice activities with the European Commission. Meaning you have a network, but maybe for specific purposes. We heard also other aspects that you could envisage besides policy advice. You create particular structures that could then play an active role in this particular sector. And the last aspect I think that made for the success of ENYA was also interlinking the activities of the Young Academies Network with that of the Senior Academies in Europe. And the best example was this year's meeting that took place in Berlin, that took place together with ALEA, the network of the European Senior Academies, with joint events also between young and senior academies. And it's particularly helpful because you ensure an exchange with the more senior academies, but you can also come up with concrete ideas of projects that you want to put forward. I would maybe finish with, however, also with a few words of, what are the limitations of such networks? And since it was just mentioned before, I think what in the ENYA context proved also difficult sometimes is really to do collaborative, groundbreaking research in these structures, in the sense of to do classical research work, simply because a couple of factors make it challenging, even for not impossible. For example, the high fluctuation of members in comparison to more senior academies, but also simple geographical limitations, meaning that in-person collaboration and meetings are more difficult. This is sometimes already a challenge in big countries. But of course, if you have a regional network, bringing together the people is involved with costs and other administrative challenges. And this leads also to the last aspect, that of course resource limitations play an important role, which, if you turn the argument upside down, would also mean ideally you would have a stable set of resources that you can rely on to organize meetings, to foster the activities of the network. But I would stop here, and maybe Hebe would have something to add, even for I'm not 100% sure that she will be able to connect because she is traveling today, but maybe she is available. Thank you so much again, Chandra, for having us.
Thanks, Marcus, for sharing the insights from your own experience with the European Academy Network. Eva, if you are there, I would request you to share your thoughts as well.
Chandra, Hiba was just messaging me. She is having an issue now to connect because she is in a public transport and the connection is not so good. So she apologizes for that. But I hope, at least from the European perspective, I could add, a few elements to your discussion.
Thanks, Marcus. So with this, I move to the next question, that when we talk about this network, and of course, we have some successful examples from Europe and Africa and even Latin America. Now, this brings me the question that what is the role of Global Young Academy and the ISC to catalyze or to facilitate this? So I request Anna Maria from GYA to share her thoughts in this regard.
Thank you, Chandra. So for the Global Young Academy, I think the starting point is our self-image as a young, independent young academy. However, at the same time that we say that we are an independent young academy and, similar to the others, with the only exception that we are global and have members from all around the globe. At the same time, of course, we have been able in the past, and we continue to be able to act as a sort of network facilitator for the young academies all around the world, in the absence of a global network for young academies. And we do that in various ways, and I'm sure that most of you are familiar with our role and our actions in the past. One of them is very practical. We try to provide a network by having all of the young academies on the website, and we have a mailing list that reaches 2 or 3 people per young academy to share opportunities and other points of interest. We're also a collector and sharer of best practices and experiences about how young academies can be created, and also best practices in terms of how to run a young academy and what issues and what challenges can appear. Of course, we also actively involved in trying to foster joint activities, joint meetings, where we sometimes come in as co-hosts. And one major aspect of our work in the past couple of years, together with the ISC, has been to help bring the young academies to the tables, to the global science tables, basically. As Marcus has just explained, for Europe, this is working really well with the ALEA network, the senior academies in Europe, now having joint meetings with the young academies in Europe. And we're going to see something replicated on the global in at the end of January with the ISC General Assembly, where the young academies that are members of the ISC can also be part of that. And I'm sure Gabriela can say more about this. So as the Global Young Academy, I think we're quite excited about the current situation where we see senior bodies becoming interested in the young academies. We see less opposition to the idea of young academies in different parts of the world. Yeah, I think seeing you guys in Asia starting to come together is just part of this process, where as Mark and the European network is probably the most advanced, as Marcus said, or the oldest, basically. And then Marcus briefly mentioned the African young academies coming together with the help of the senior regional African network of academies, NASAC. And we've seen a few meetings in the Americas context where young academies have been meeting. And now you guys, and I think it's just fantastic that INYAS has taken this initiative and started to explore the idea of collaboration. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how this develops. Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna, for sharing your views. And I extend this question to Gabriela from ISC, because as we see, GYA is more independent young academy and more in the role of facilitator. But I think ISC, having the affiliated members in terms of young academies, I see little more active role from ISC. So I would like to hear from Gabriela in this regard, that how ISC can play its role in bringing the young academies from the Asia together.
Thank you, Chandra, and I'm very happy to follow up on the great points that Ana Maria and Marcus have already made, and maybe I'll frame my answer through three objectives. One is a convening role, another one is a strategic role of identifying needs and resources, and lastly, the objective of building bridges. So the first one in the convening role, I really congratulate INYAS for having this meeting and convening the Young Academies in Asia. I think this is critical. In order to start a network, you need to have a very strong community. And that strong community is, the first step is to have these meetings and to engage with people, to build trust, to build a relationship, a strong network of focal points. And at the ISC level, we are always trying to do this by attending meetings like this or organizing meetings like the Global Knowledge Dialogues, which have been regional discussions with, as Ana Maria was saying, young academies being present in the room, which is, of course, an effort that always has to be, highlighted because you don't traditionally see that many young scientists at major scientific events. So we're still at the inception of this type of presence and contribution. So there is still a lot of effort and resources to be put into that, and financial resources, like other panelists mentioned. Funding is an issue, right? And we try our best to offer bursaries to young scientists to attend this type of regional or global meetings like the one General Assembly in Oman. So this is more to the idea of convening, which I think is very important to have the people in the same room, virtually, in person, to know them, to build the relationship, and to exchange ideas. To the other one of being strategic, what I've learned so well from young academies like the GYA and other young academies from around the world, you have to be strategic in identifying your needs. What are the needs that you have at a national level? Do you have needs of funding? Do you have needs of focusing on this type of disciplines? Or do you have international needs of collaboration? Once you identify them, you can then be very strategic and say, I need this type of partners. If it's international collaboration, like the New Zealand ECR network reached out to us just a week ago saying, our need is international collaboration. We want to know more about the ISC. How can we work together? And I said, look, we have a regional office in Asia and the Pacific. We organize trainings, we organize meetings, but they were very specific in identifying this need. And I think at the ISC level as well, if we see the need is for capacity building, we organize trainings. If we see the need is international collaboration, we try to offer bursaries and organize meetings. So this is to the objective of being strategic in identifying those needs. And maybe lastly, on the idea of building bridges, what Marcus and Ana Maria mentioned is also to build a bridge between senior and young, or established and upcoming scientists. I think that's very important because yes, we may focused meetings between young academies are great, right? In terms of relationship building and identifying those needs and ideas for collaboration. But we also need to have a collaboration across disciplines. And I want to stress here social science as being very important to be represented in each young academy, and collaboration between senior and young academies, and an active type of efforts by young academies in most cases to reach out to the senior academy or to senior bodies in their countries, which I know may be challenging for many of the young academies, but still it's a diplomatic effort, it's a strategic effort that always needs to take place for those efforts to be, coordinated and integrated well at a national and then international level. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriela. I think you rightly mentioned about the three different roles from IFC side, convening and the strategic role as well as the building bridges. I think we are quite helpful to take these discussions and to take this idea forward. Since we are already running out of time, I request now Nishant, Chair NIAS, to kind of summarize the plan of action from here, from this discussion, maybe short-term and long-term plans which can be taken forward from the today's discussion. And I think from there we can highlight the requirements and needs, identify the needs as Gavrila was mentioning. So Nishant, over to you.
Thank you, Chandra, and thank you to everyone for sharing their thoughts during the panel discussion, which definitely I think helps us identify some of the critical challenges that probably are common to many of the Asian Young Academies. And as Gabriela was mentioning, I think the first step for us should be to identify the needs which are common in goal for all the academies, of course, at the global level, but since we are discussing more specifically towards an Asian network, so I think Basant was also mentioning that we have so many commonalities in terms of the challenges that we face. So this is something that we need to work upon. And since this cannot be done in a day, we definitely understand that. This is just probably the beginning and the first of its kind, where we are at least thinking with our initial steps towards coming up with a network, where we will require a lot of meetings subsequently. A physical in-person meeting may not be happening immediately, but then the online platforms serve an excellent platform for us to join hands together. We are already, I think, working in with some of the academies, maybe like for example, INYAS and NIAB have been working together. SLAS has also been working with us. NIAN, we have worked with NIAN as well. And I'm sure there are other academies which are also working together within them. So we need to keep working in these small cohorts as well. But in addition to that, I think we can try and set up newer and fresh meetings online, at least to begin with, where we start identifying the issues which will help us set up the platform, where we start building on the objectives of a common network that we have, and then we can consider. Of course, some of the challenges have already been expressed by many of the panelists here today, and research collaborations was one of them to begin with. I think somebody also mentioned that if we look at the publication data, most of our researchers are publishing across continents, but we are not focusing on working together within our own continent. So maybe research collaborations, how we can facilitate them would be an excellent starting point. In addition, somebody was mentioning about the if we can consider sharing of equipment. So a consortium of any kind that can help towards working together. So research is the common goal, I think, for all of us. But in addition, since we are all of the members present here are trying to spread science to the community, that is the goal that we all should strive towards at large. So these can only come up when we start talking more and more frequently. And so this probably is just the precursor to the next upcoming meetings. And I will request all the members here to please help us build this network, and we can come towards a platform which eventually in the coming few years we can have the first in-person meeting of the Asian network. So thank you everyone, and over to you, Chandra.
Thanks, Nishant, for summarizing the next course of action. And I think I totally agree with Marcus, what he said, that yes, it takes a lot of time and patience as well as need consistency. And I'm sure that today's discussion will be a kind of catalyzing point and nucleation point for taking these discussions forward. So I once again thank all of you for your time, even on a weekend, Saturday, and joining from different parts of the world with the different time zones. And since we are already crossing our time, so I will not take much time, and I just formally thank everyone joining from New Zealand, RSTA Asia Forum, Christy Smith, from Sri Lanka, Dr. Nimshi, Dr. Basan from Nepal, Dr. Aftaf from Pakistan, Professor Tariq from Bangladesh, and Gabriela from ISC, and my GYA colleagues, Marcus, Hiba, and Anna Maria, and my own INYAS colleagues, Ram, Rajni, Ranjini, and Sobaya, and of course, thanks to the chair of INYAS, Nishant. Thank you once again for your time, and let's take the discussions from here forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
There's